Here at Café Central, what we like to keep it is the same way as when we started. We haven't made hardly any changes. We like to keep it that way. That's the tradition. And it's a combination from the European and African, the Taino Indians. All that mixture becomes the Puerto Rican food, which is different from anybody else. But usually when you come here, because it's a Puerto Rican restaurant, you don't know anything about it, and you got the tendency to hesitate at certain food. So the way they overcome that is give them a little taste. There are some people that like our beef, others the chicken. Other people like the jibarito sandwich, which is a sandwich without bread. It's made in plantains. Then when you give them a little taste and they try, say, this is what I want.
You say that Cafe Central really has our act together. Tell us why you chose it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love this place because, first off, it reminds me of when I was a kid. I grew up next to these Puerto Rican kids, and I love the beans and rice their mother made. In this place, it tastes exactly like how I remember as a child. So, I mean, I love it. It's fantastic. And Chicago is very Latino, and there's lots of places all over the city that have, like, Puerto Rican food. And I've tried many of the places. And this place hit home for me. It's in my heart. I mean, I love this spot.
How did you discover it?
I was going with a friend one morning. We were going to go to breakfast at a place across the street, and it happened to be closed. And it was a little more like it seemed like more like expensive, and I like more of a diner type place. And I looked across the street, and I was like, "Look at that place! That's all gray. Let's go there." And we went there, and I couldn't believe it. Like it was like I walked into heaven. I walked into this awesome Puerto Rican restaurant, and I loved it, and believe me, if you say anything bad about it, because I can already tell. Oh my God, you would make me so upset, Sarah.
Sarah, what'd you think? Your fiance must be very low maintenance. So well done.
The first place I took her.
Well done. Well, you know, I went on a Sunday night, and it was quieter there, so I didn't get a real feel for the atmosphere. However, I did get a feel for the staff because we sat right by all of the waitresses, and it took 15 to 20 minutes for anyone to come over.
Really?
And I'll say once they came over, they were very sweet.
Did you have the menu?
We did, and it took me a while to realize that half of it was in Spanish and half was in English. So it took a while for me to negotiate that. I thought, given the atmosphere and the service, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to get. I was pleasantly surprised that the food was actually very tasty.
What did you end up ordering?
I ordered the chicken stew, which is really more like a roasted chicken.
Yeah, which is delicious.
It's delicious. It comes with rice and potato and beans.
Yes.
My issue with the chicken
oh boy,
is that it was not so much chicken and more bones. Now, the chicken meat I had was delicious.
Yeah.
But I felt like I had to be a caveman and really work to get most of the stuff off of it.
But think about what you probably paid like $6 for the meal, and how much chicken do you expect to get for $7? I mean,
you can't beat the price point. That is very true.
Yeah.
So, Wilfred, what did you think?
I liked it. It's a very honest place with honest food, and they don't pretend to be anything other than what they are. I had a roast chicken with rice, which was quite tasty. Yeah. They have another chicken dish where the chicken is actually cooked in the rice, and I was able to taste that. I actually liked it better. I thought
arroz
it
con
was better.
pollo.
Yes. The empanadas were a little disappointing to start. The texture was not quite right.
Well, empanadas can go either way. I mean, there's two different ways to make empanadas. There's like the baked kind and the deep fried kind. Of course, the filling's very, greatly across the board too. So.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on what your expectations are.
I recommend if you go there, if you ever go again, well, you got the right thing. I recommend the combination plate, which is the beans, the rice, and then you can choose. You can either get ribs, goat, smothered chicken, stewed chicken. And the great thing about it, too, that I think it's important, is the owner actually told me, like, whenever he hires a cook there, like when they get a new cook, he works with the guy for like 2 weeks. Like he starts when he starts and he leaves when he leaves. Because he wants the recipes to be right on the money, because he said the recipes are like 40-year-old recipes.
Right. I mean, when you say the recipes are 40 years old, when I had my first bite of the chicken with the rice and the beans, that's what it made me think of Friday night dinner with my great-grandma. It was that type of really comforting food that stuck to your ribs in a really satisfying way. But one thing I had that was such a standout, and for this alone I will be going back, was the dessert. And they had papaya with white cheese. And it was, have you had it?
No, I've
now, what
never
did you order that? I don't think
it's
I would have
awesome
ordered
because
that.
it sounded so crazy that I had to try it. And there is an endearing quality to the restaurant because you do see that whole street is really becoming gentrified and a lot of new, funky, great restaurants are coming. But there was something that was sort of endearing about the linoleum and the vinyl and
it
that
looks
kind
like
of
a
a
diner.
feel.
And the fact that they serve breakfast, too. I mean, you can get steak and eggs
It's sort
or
of
pork
a
chop
Puerto
and
Rican diner, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Monty, you chose Cafe Central. Sum it up for us.
Cafe Central, if you're looking for good old school Puerto Rican food that tastes like homemade, this is the spot. Get the beans and rice, get the combination plate, and definitely try the stewed chicken.
Sarah?
If you're looking for comforting food that is really, really reasonably priced and you're not looking for frills, this is the place to go.
Wilfred?
Honest food at honest prices, and they encourage BYOB.
All right, well, you can try the Puerto Rican specialties for yourself at Cafe Central, 1437 West Chicago, 312-243-6776. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Reservations are accepted, and alcoholic beverages are BYOB. The average tab per person is $15.